When you drop the story, nothing can touch you because there is no image to defend, no timeline to chase, no identity to uphold, no future to protect, no past to maintain. The mind survives through psychological continuity. That continuity is called my story, my heartbreak, my future, my potential, my image, my spiritual progress, my pain, my journey. Without story, the mind feels like it is dying. So when I say drop the story and nothing can touch you, it means what exactly is there left to be wounded? A person insults you. Normally, the insult hits an image. I'm intelligent, I am worthy, I am respected. The pain is not from the words, the pain is from the defense of the image. If there is no image to defend, the words pass through empty space, like wind through an open window. You suffer because psychologically you are carrying a past to preserve, a future to secure, an identity to maintain, an internal movie to continue. And every event is interpreted through that movie. A girl leaves. Now the mind says, what does this mean about me? What about my future? What about the life I imagined? See carefully. The suffering is not the event. The suffering is the collapse of imagination. The mind is deeply invested in becoming. I will become successful. I will become healed. I will become extraordinary. I will become spiritually awakened. This becoming creates psychological time, and psychological time creates fear because now there is something to lose. The moment you become somebody psychologically, you become fragile. Now everything can threaten you: a rejection, a failure, a comment, a comparison, a lost opportunity, a younger person succeeding, silence from someone you like. All become attacks on the self image. But when there is no psychological image, who's hurt? Look at a child observed in play. For a moment, there is no self consciousness, no performer, no internal narrator, only direct living. That state has tremendous vitality because energy is no longer wasted protecting identity. Most humans are exhausted because they are defending imaginary structures all day. They defend reputation, self concept, status, opinions, narratives, emotional history. This is psychological warfare against life itself, and they call this living. When the story drops, life becomes immediate. You stop asking, what does this mean about me? You simply observe. Pain may still exist physically, practical problems may still exist, loss may still happen, but psychological suffering reduces enormously because suffering requires resistance from the self image. The deepest freedom is not becoming invisible, it is realizing there was never a psychological entity there to protect in the first place. Just memory pretending to be a person, just thought pretending to be continuity, just narrative pretending to be identity. And once this is seen deeply, not intellectually, but directly, a strange lightness enters life. Now life can move, nothing sticks, because there is no center accumulating psychological residue anymore. Only this moment remains, and the moment is always clean. Yes, that is what the mind cannot understand. The mind lives through accumulation. It carries yesterday's insult, tomorrow's fear, old pleasure, unfinished desire, psychological conclusions, imagined futures. So the mind never actually meets life directly. It meets life through residue. But reality itself is always fresh. This moment has never existed before. Look carefully. The present moment itself is never wounded. Only memory is wounded. Right now, before thought enters, what problem exists psychologically, not conceptually, actually. The mind immediately rushes in and says, but what about my future? What about what she said? What about my failure? What about my loneliness? That moment is psychological time. That moment contaminates the moment. The moment itself is clean because existence does not carry psychological residue. Trees do not carry yesterday psychologically. The sky does not carry insult. A bird does not wake up defending an identity. Only humans psychologically recycle memory endlessly. And then they call that recycled memory me. When you fully experience a moment without narrative, there is immense silence. not cultivated silence, not forced silence, natural silence. Because the observer temporarily disappears, and with the observer gone, there's no division between me and life. Only life remains. This is why certain moments feel strangely alive. Walking alone at dawn, intense exercise, deep attention, watching rain, moments after crying completely, total immersion in work, sitting in nature silently. Why? Because for a few seconds, the self story weakens, and when the self story weakens, life suddenly feels vivid again. Not because reality changed, because psychological noise reduced. The tragedy is, humans rarely live in the moment itself, they live in interpretation of the moment. So they miss life entirely. They are eating while thinking, walking while remembering, listening while preparing responses, working while fantasizing about outcomes, loving while fearing loss. They are almost never here. The moment is always clean, means life continuously renews itself. But the mind continuously carries stains from imagination. Freedom is not creating a perfect future, freedom is ending psychological carryover. Then each moment stands alone, fresh, untouched, alive. Most people think being untouchable means becoming numb, cold, detached, robotic. No, it means you have stopped offering the world places to stab you. People suffer not because the world attacks them, but because they carry invisible hooks. I want to be respected. I want her to stay. I want money to mean something. I want success to prove my worth. I want life to go according to my script. Every hook is an invitation. Please hurt me here. The world doesn't even need to try. Life simply moves, and the hook tears you from inside. A man without stories has removed these hooks, not by force, not by pretending, but by seeing their falseness. When the hook is gone, nothing can grip you. Listen, most human suffering is not caused by reality, it is caused by psychological dependency disguised as normal living. A person says, I just want love. No, look deeper. What they often mean is, I want someone to confirm that I am worthy of existence. Now, love becomes dangerous because the other person is no longer a human being. They become psychological life support. Now, every text matters, every delay matters, every mood shift matters, every withdrawal feels like death. Why? Because the hook is not love. The hook is, without this person, I feel incomplete. The same thing happens with success. A man says, I want to win. But underneath it is often, if I succeed, then I can finally respect myself. Now, success becomes emotional survival, and survival creates fear, fear of failure, fear of comparison, fear of losing momentum, fear of younger people overtaking you, fear of not becoming somebody. So, even achievement becomes suffering, not because achievement is wrong, but because identity became attached to it. People imagine attachment means caring deeply. No, attachment means I have psychologically tied my existence to an outcome. That is bondage. Care is clean, attachment is fear. A man can deeply love a woman without psychologically needing her to complete him. A man can pursue money intensely without using money to define his worth. A man can build great things without becoming psychologically imprisoned by them. But this requires inner clarity. Otherwise, every pursuit becomes hidden slavery. Look carefully at daily human behavior. Most reactions are not responses to reality, they are defenses of self image. Someone ignores you, instant discomfort. Why? Because there is an image. I should matter. Someone criticizes you, anger arises. Why? Because there is an image. I am intelligent, I am good, I am spiritually advanced. The attack hurts only because the image exists. Without the image, criticism becomes information or noise, nothing more. This is why deeply secure people feel strangely untouchable, not because life favors them, not because they suppress emotion, but because fewer psychological hooks exist. They are not constantly bargaining with life. Most people are secretly negotiating with reality all day. I will be okay if this works. I will be happy if she stays. I will feel worthy if they admire me. I will rest once I become successful. This is continuous psychological dependence, and dependence creates fragility. The world does not need to attack you. Life naturally changes. People leave, money fluctuates, bodies age, status disappears, opinions change, markets collapse, attention fades. If your identity is attached to any of these, suffering becomes inevitable. Not because life is cruel, because you built your house on movement. A man without stories is dangerous in the most beautiful way. You cannot manipulate him with praise. You cannot control him with rejection. You cannot seduce him with status. You cannot psychologically blackmail him with approval. Because inwardly, he is no longer asking the world, "Tell me who I am." That question itself has ended. This does not make a person cold. Actually, it often makes them more alive. Because now energy is no longer trapped in self production. There is more attention, more presence, more directness, more simplicity, more love without fear. A person full of psychological hooks cannot truly love. They cling, they negotiate, they possess, they fear, they monitor. What they call love is often dependency mixed with attachment. Real love becomes possible only when psychological hunger weakens. When the hook disappears, life still happens, pain still happens, death still happens, loss still happens, but suffering no longer multiplies endlessly through mental resistance. The experience moves through you cleanly, like rain through open air. Nothing accumulates psychologically, and this is why some people carry immense peace even in difficulty, not because their life is perfect, but because they stopped demanding that life protect their psychological identity. Listen, in the end, freedom is not becoming stronger than the world. It is no longer deriving your psychological existence from the world. Then praise cannot inflate you, criticism cannot reduce you, loss cannot define you, success cannot complete you, rejection cannot destroy you, because inwardly there is no longer a fragile image demanding constant production. The world continues to move, people continue to come and go, life continues to change, but something fundamental relaxes inside you. You stop carrying psychological hooks into every moment, and for the first time, life is not experienced through fear, resistance, or becoming. It is simply lived directly, quietly, completely, not as a story, but as reality itself.